Hello and welcome back to our continuing adventures on the Let's Defend platform. The announcement emails came out finally. The incident responder beta is open, and I managed to score an account. So a couple things to note. Uh, Again, this is beta, so there will probably be some bugs, deficiencies, things of that nature. As I understand it, we are to use the endpoint security section on the left-hand side of the screen in order to establish a connection to the affected workstation and work out from there. Um, Other than that, I mean, it looks like no data and log management in regards to these yet. So that'd be something that'll hopefully get resolved in the future. But again, beta. So hey, at least it's not alpha. So this is interesting the way that it's laid out. So instead of being the SOC1 analyst, we're now SOC2, SOC3, or maybe their own separate DFIR analyst. But today we are going to take a look at SOC148, EventID 95, interaction with suspicious IP address detected. This occurred July 27th, 2021, 5:02 p.m. So let's see, suspicious IP 172 or 176.40.37. What 158. So we're gonna grab that before we do anything else. So we'll also make note of the L1 note. When I look with netstat, I see an active connection to port 443 of the 176.40.37.158, but I don't know who did what. Well, all right then. Just taking a look. I've taken the IP address and dumped it into our various tools. Talos says it's got a poor email reputation. It's apparently listed on Spamhaus block list. Apparently that whole section looks crappy. IBM X-Force has almost no real risk rating. Apparently it's a dynamic IP. OTX has nothing of any sort of real value. IP Void, apparently this isn't right now on anybody's crap list. And then just to round it out, of course, the old faithful virus total. Okay, so I've got no pre-planning on any of this, so hopefully I don't suck too terribly at this. But okay, so I've got all that stuff put in, so we'll go endpoint security. Oh, now that is obviously a little bit more different here. Ooh, how badly does that run off the list? All right, so this is cut off just ever so slightly. Hopefully that won't come back to bite me in the butt. Okay. So let's see. We need to find, what is this? This is Valeria Prod? Ah, here we go. Oh, goody. It's an Ubuntu box. We got Python, we got top. Wait, no, that's not it. Just see as to whether or not if anything actually stands out just from a process history. So that doesn't look like that's changed. Browser history, command history. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be looking for things that would have occurred July 27th, so it doesn't look like any of this stuff has been updated to fit, right? Because that's April of 2021, which is fine. Yep, so none of this is anything that I can really use, but that's fine. But let's take a look and see what action does. Estimated time, 2 minutes. So obviously it's spinning something up in the background. Hmm. Oh, while we're waiting for that, how about your local sports team, eh? Ooh, ooh, I like this. Okay, so it's got what? Roughly an hour? Can we open this in a new tab? Oh, come on. It contains dangerous URLs. Do you want to continue? Yes. What's the worst that's going to happen? Oh, nice. Who am I? I am analyst. Is it local host? Host name? Hmm. Well, that doesn't really give me a whole lot of hope on that one. Oh, okay. So PS. Hello. Right there. Right there. So let's see. We've got apparently some Python 3 code making a connection back out. It's down there on the right section of the screen. Now the question is, can I actually grab that whole string? It looks like it runs off. But we have a PID. We have a Python. Apparently this was done with Adminis Plus. Alright, so, but we have the PID 519. And that looks like that would be the instance for it, but, oh, wrong window. So if we do netstat just to verify, I see an active connection. But yet I don't see 176 listing in there. What do we have? So let's do E P all anything listening. So extend, give me the PID, well, verbose as well. Do we get the 176 now? Okay then. Even though we know from having that sucker run through, it's still enough to give me something off that. So analyst, root, analyst, system D, message. So if I'm going to take a guess, I'm going to say that's the administrator account. So they're using the plus sign to kind of cut it off. Okay, I don't suppose that we can actually hello. Bugger all. So there's our, oh, crap. Save modified buffer, no. All right, one more time. We're gonna copy that. I'm gonna paste it in here. So, okay, so okay, there it gets cut off. All right, so user bin python 3-c import socket subprocess os s equals socket.socket socket.af underscore inet socket.sock underscore stream. Connect to that os.dupe2 subprocess call bin sh. So what calls an interactive shell underneath the administrative account according to this. So we got PID, everything else like that. So now my question becomes, we've got this established, it's the admin account, everything else like that. What? I'm assuming they're going to want us to go through and kill this thing and follow up with the like. I'm assuming. But let's go ahead and create a case and see as to what they want to direct as to what we're doing. Yeah, we've done that. Ooh. All right, so then they ask MITRE attack framework questions. And then immediately direct you to taking a look to see as to what you found to basically dump it by. Well, okay then. Of course, I mean, we still haven't figured out as to where this sucker came from, which is where we'd kind of look at all the event logs and everything else like that. All right, so we've got that. We don't need this. Um, Permission denied. Okay. I don't suppose that I can sudo, can I? Oh, look at that. All right, so netcat E, which Python 3 in order to get the version ls, nano to create shell.sh, and then to run shell.sh, and then to reboot. Oh, that's great. Oh, cripe. Okay, so we've got that it was created underneath the administrative account. We've seen everything through there. But we're still kind of left figuring out, okay, how did they get in? Okay, so I am going to pause this and gather some thoughts as opposed to just the ums and the ahs and the or just the absolute dead silence. So I'll be back in, well, it'll seem like 1 second. Okay, so jumping back into it, took a look and ran last log to take a look the last time the user account signed in. So we've got root for April 27th. It looks like, so that would be 513. That would effectively be, oh wait, no, plus. But what we do have is administrator at 10 after. Took a look to the administrator account doing sudo ch age dash l administrator, and that gave me the fact that password has never, the password for administrator never expires. The account never expires. Apparently I'm the only one that's in the system, and I don't see, at least according to sudo last b, there are no real bad, let me bring that up a little bit. No apparent recorded last bad attempts at logging in. So loads of fun with that. A very good chance that it's just basically default creds for popping in there. So with that, I think ultimately I would like to see as to whether or not of going through and doing taking a look at SSH logs would maybe be the next thing to see, just in case it's not part of in there. Oh, that might be external remote services. I'd have to check though. So I've got to refresh myself on how to sit there and take a look at SSH logs on an Ubuntu, what was this, like 1804 system? Just to see if there's anything there. Okay, apparently it's not as difficult as what I think it is. So we'll boom that down again. So var log, we're looking for auth.log. Looks like we got two of them that we'll need to run sudo for. So sudo nano auth.log. Hello, hello. What's all this then? Huh, analyst. Really? That's it? Okay, I did happen to see that there's also an auth.log.1. July 14th. Hey, all right. August 19th. Of course, this might have been everything from them creating all this. So the big question is, we're looking for possibly anything to denote let's see, so there's 180, 42. Hello. Password change for administrator. This is on July 27th. New user administrator. All right, so somebody, looks like somebody popped root. So it's listening port 22, so SSH is open. Starting at roughly 1700. So we have root at 1700. So what is that, SSH then? Yes. They pop that, they created, they tried to create an admin account. That failed. So they made a new user, administrator, and they set the shell to be bin.sh. Okay, so, and then they dropped that stuff in there. So then we are seeing, then they signed in with the, or SSH'd in. Pre-auth. Port 43584. Looks like they spun up a bunch of sessions. Okay, so it looks like they popped root and went from there. So what about the data? Password was last changed April 30th, 2021 for the root account. Here, let me bring that up a little bit more. So then we're looking at sometime after April 30th, someone popped root, SSH'd in, sat there, turned around, and created an administrator account. Created the shell.sh in the administrator or /home/administrator. And basically that sits there, runs a bunch of Python to make a connection back to the, what was it, 176? Yeah, 176.40.37.158 to basically open that stuff back up. And as we saw inside the bash history, it looks like somebody kicked off Netcat. So I know it's been a decent amount of time, but it was NC-E. So what does the E flag do on? Well, why don't we just ask NC dash question mark? Length interval, destination port, source, proxy keyword, R table, receive limit, timeout. Is there no actual E flag? I know it doesn't look like anything's changed. I got a second window opened up. I'm kind of running through everything here to see as to whether or not if I can find some sort of mention in regards to what E is responsible for. And if you know and you're screaming, I apologize. It's been a long time since I've done that. See, now every example I see, if someone's kicking E, they're doing bin. It looks like they're calling /bin/bash in order to get a bash shell. So what, can you use that then to... That's in order to generate a backdoor shell. Yeah, so -E then should include /bin/bash, or if it's running on Windows, command.exe or cmd.exe. Okay, so it's basically calling the shell, although that one did not have anything listed when they attempted to run it. I don't suppose we could just do something as simple as sudo nano /home/administrator/ /bash_history. Oops. Gom. Fat finger. No? There we go. Yeah, so NC-E. And then they figured out what version of Python, they listed everything, and then they created the shell.sh to kick that stuff off in order to generate and run through. Oh, yeah. It basically tells you where Python 3 is based off of. And then what we have for our understanding. Yep, that's the very first line inside of that shell.sh /user/bin/python3, which obviously they would need to know where it is in order for them to call out to everything. Then they do their imports, they make their connection, and then they basically call out. I'm gonna grab that entire string just to see as to whether or not if this is like a well-known Python backdoor. No, but I mean, we can kind of infer from everything that's going on. Okay, so then we need to figure out. I mean, it looks like a valid account because they popped root. But the other aspect that I'm trying to figure out would be, could it be external remote services? I mean, it's not a VPN, it's not Citric, but it is SSH. So the question is, would that actually count? A lot of it. Yeah, SSH. Chimera has used legitimate credentials to log into external VPN, Citrix, SSH, and other remote services. So by looking at all that stuff, and I've got to sit there and kind of figure out, okay, did they exploit it or did they get the actual? Because it doesn't look like they tried brute forcing it at all. It looks like they just had it. So I guess that's the other aspect too. Where's the valid accounts? Because it doesn't look like they had any problems at all. And it looks like that would be potentially valid. I could go either which way with this, honestly, because they made their connection via SSH, which would be the remote services, but they also utilized a valid account aspect. So the question is, you can only pick one. So, okay, I'm going to just make the thing of a valid account. They knew root, and however, they knew that the root password to be able to get in there. Persistence method? Well, it's not a web shell, but it's basically just a system shell or a backdoor shell. But in order to keep persistence, they created the administrator account. Were privileged escalation techniques used in the attack? Well, no, because I mean, they were signed in as root. So they didn't have to worry about doing any of that. Credential access. Okay. We need to bring that one up here. So brute force, password guessing, cracking, spraying, stuffing. That's just it. We have no effing clue, though. Unless you're missing something. Oh, I'm sure I'm missing bunch. All right, let's go back to take a look at one. So there's July. So I am assuming that 3.16.146.0 port 1278. That must be the good guys or system owner because there's the analyst account created. It looks like, what, the Ubuntu account? vi sudo. It's not until we get closer to the end of the day that we see anything else for this touch. So, okay, we've got all that stuff put together. The 14th, I'm not seeing anything here that really stands out too much. And pretty much as soon as we move over to the 27th. Failed password for root from 104. Okay, let's do this. So we've taken a look at the IP address that we started with, 176.40.37.158. Now, how about we take a look at this other IP that's in here? Listed just as this stuff starts rolling. That means it's like a known scanning host by chance. We're just gonna dump this in everything. So Talos, DigitalOcean with a poor email rep. It's listed as on an abuse block list. At one point, apparently, it was Math Advantage. Running web server. Stuff's been moved, so there's no. Oh, related tags. Here we go. Brute force, SSH, honeypot. Okay, so basically this thing at some particular point was attempting to hit everything. If we go by the tags. Always by the tags. That was on the 14th, but they weren't able to actually make a connection, but it looks like they scanned. Disconnected. And the very first thing that we start doing is the password for Ubuntu is changed by root. It starts listening on port 22. And we get the 316, so on and so forth, that we've kind of put together. But then we get, see, that can't be the good guys then. It looks like that was the restart. And then after that point, we have root then creating the administrator account. and then they pop out from that. So we've got all that stuff. How about a quick and dirty lookup, since we don't have much else on that? Oh, there's a space from the thing in front of 3. Amazon. So yeah, I'm not gonna sit there, be too concerned about that. But it definitely looks like root, and then was basically popped, and then started just beating the crap out of it, trying to connect. Apparently they established, what, 8 sessions, 9 sessions? New session 9 of user root. I mean, before that though, I mean, there wasn't like failed logins. For the 104. Yeah, so we still don't have any idea. I mean, technically, what would be unsecured credentials? Would that be something that's been set and then just never changed? I don't know, that's kind of the hard thing to figure out there. So sudo nano dot bash underscore history. SHD config. It's a directory, but I can't actually look at that directory. Sudo slash ls-a slash home slash ubuntu slash dot ssh authorize keys. Oh, okay, never mind. Nothing in there. I don't suppose that I can UX. Yeah, so that's it. Everything that we're dealing with right there. What was the other one? Sudo ch-h-l Ubuntu. July 14th was something that never expires again. Okay, there's been a couple of days between recording that, so coming back to it, I've got to start back up on the playbook again. So I believe valid accounts. What persistence? Well, they created the account, the administrator. Were privilege escalation techniques used? I didn't see any evidence of sudo, although it was mostly just, hey, we have root accounts, so we don't really need to escalate to anything. See, I think when we were looking at it, the root password, or the password for root hadn't ever been changed, so I think my guess was unsecured credentials. And then add artifacts. Oh, goody. I did copy off the output for I think it was the auth log. Basically just seeing if anything just kind of stood out. So it's definitely, realistically, all we have is an IP address. And that was, what, Python? Oh, we'll say Python 3 backdoor. System needs to be nuked and paved. Passwords then set to secure ones and changed semi-regularly. Perimeter firewall should be checked to verify only needed ports. Services are opened for this system. Next. We'll finish the playbook, and I guess we'll see as to how this shakes out. And I guess if you go through this and you see something I missed, I would love to actually hear about it. Don't end up having to do IR for Linux boxes all that often. It's sadly, you know, most of corporate environments are Windows devices, although that is started to change slightly. Close the alert. So that is a true positive. Compromised. Nuke and pave. Yeah, since I think when I was looking through all that, granted it's been a couple of days since I've gone through and worked on this, that I do believe that, I mean, the passwords had never really been changed. Except for, oh, what was it? except for the very beginning of all this on July 27th at 1700 hours and 31 seconds. Password for Ubuntu changed by root. But we'll close this and we'll see as to how bad we did. Well, apparently I just entirely screwed that entire pooch. Got it right for true positive, but effectively just completely lost my shirt for the miter attack portion. Yeah, got all that. Yeah, I can't say that I really like the whole aspect of relying so heavily on the miter attack framework to answer these particular points. I guess if I had anything to sit there and suggest, getting the actual um, responses in terms of, okay, we picked the wrong, you know, credential access tech, or what technique was used in the credential access tactic, as opposed to just marking the portion down, go through and give us a little bit more. How about the correct answer to in which you're going from here? So let's see, successful brute force attack. Really? Brute force? Let's see, in the auth.log. Yet, oh, I didn't check cron tab. Okay, let me grab the editor's notes. Of course, I can't really put that in this particular portion. I don't know, assuming I can still spin this thing up, I might go through and give it another shot. But then again, this is a beta anyways, so I'm not gonna, I guess, lose too much sleep over it since it's not really tied to my main account with this. It's just a beta account. Okay, so there is a rather disastrous run of SOC148, interaction with suspicious IP address detected, EventID 95 for July 27th, 2021, 5:02 p.m. And with that disaster in the books, I will see everyone in the next video.